Today, we are heading down to Wollongong because I am going to the Australian Crochet Convention. There are workshops, yarn shopping, crochet celebrities, and plenty of yarny people who enjoy crochet. I've never been to this event before, so naturally we're going to explore everything, spend more money than we probably intend to, and answer the very important question, is the Crochet Convention worth it? If you're new here, hey, I'm Emma, your crochet bestie. I attend a lot of crafting events, so you don't have to, but you definitely should. So you might be wondering, what is the Crochet Convention? It is a multi-day event with workshops, a yarn market, Australian and international crochet designers, demonstrations, and a community space for crocheters to meet and stitch together. This event is organised by the Crochet Guild Australia, and this year was at Novotel North Beach in Wollongong, New South Wales. It is also a travelling event, so it will not be in New South Wales next year. It's going to be in Victoria in Geelong. I hadn't actually seen much about this event previously, and I thought that I was actually tuned in to a lot of crafting events in Sydney, and specifically the crochet ones. But it was actually my knitting friend who told me all about this one. I went with my friend and we drove down from Sydney to Wollongong. If you're going to this event in future, parking was getting really competitive at 8:45 in the morning on a Saturday. There's also an option to catch the train, but it is a decently long trip from Central. Once we were in the lobby, there was a sign directing us to the floor where the convention was being held. Check-in was super easy. After some previous events in hotels, I was a bit worried that the check-in process was going to be harder. But the line actually moved really quick and it really wasn't much of a line. There was no need to stress at all. I also had a workshop booked at 9:30. That was why I was a little bit worried about the check-in process. Honestly, it was so smooth, I have no complaints. So let's get into my workshop experience. I booked the beaded lantern workshop with Jill. It ran for 3 hours and was $160. The cost of the workshop also included my entry into the event for 3 days, which was worth about $45. I also had to bring $10 in cash on the day to the workshop, but I kind of wish that that was included in the initial workshop fee, just so that I didn't have to stress about finding any cash. In the beaded lantern workshop, I learned how to crochet onto hoops, as well as how to add beads to my crochet pieces. The workshop was aimed at more experienced crocheters who could read a pattern, but there was also plenty of other workshops for all levels. Overall, the workshop had a fun atmosphere. Jill, the instructor, had also showed us some of the other items that she had created using unconventional materials and how you could use those materials to add more structure to your pieces. There was also a lot of her work around the convention, like umbrellas and lanterns. She also explained how she made these gorgeous umbrellas. I left feeling really inspired, and I have lots of thoughts of how I could add beads to my next projects, as well as using unconventional materials to make something cool. I also have to add, all of the workshop rooms had great views of the beach. So for all of you who are wondering, what does this beaded lantern look like? Here it is. I think it's pretty cool. So I did not finish my lantern in the workshop. I got to maybe about here. Jill was saying that she had modified the workshop pattern to add the beads sooner, so that everyone at the workshop could experience adding beads and get help if they needed it. Jill was saying in the workshop that she used to have the beads further down, but found that some people wouldn't get up to the beaded section as fast as others, or they would run out of time before the workshop finished. So she added them in towards the top. But I'm definitely excited to add beads further down in my lantern projects and see how they turn out. I think it turned out really good. Like, here it is from the bottom. Here is like the top view. It was only one skein of yarn too. I finished the rest of my lantern off at home with no problems. I don't think I mentioned this before, but the $10 that I bought to the workshop was to pay for the kit. So it had the beads, the yarn to make the project, and all of the rings included. Oh, and some lights and batteries. The only thing that I had to bring to the workshop was my own crochet hooks and a pair of scissors. Honestly, I crochet so much, I have all that stuff already. But if you're newer to crochet, perhaps you might have needed to buy some of the smaller crochet hooks. But being the Crochet Convention, there was definitely plenty to pick from and plenty of vendors selling them. If you want to see my lantern with lights on, I have a picture on my Instagram linked below. I did this workshop with my bestie, which also kind of made it fun vibes for me. If you didn't have a workshop booked, there was activities and talks happening on the main stage / community area. Now this area was also intermingled with the market area, which I don't normally like due to the noise issues, but it didn't seem to cause any problems in this case. I was in that space mostly in the afternoon, and it was pretty quiet vibes. Instead of traditional seating for the panels, they had massive round tables that you could sit at and crochet, which I really appreciated because I like to have somewhere to rest my elbows when I'm crocheting. It also helped spark conversations with other crocheters because we were all having a good look at each other's projects. The community side of the event really shone through. I got to talk to quite a few fellow crocheters and was very inspired by what they were making. We were also doing mini hauls for each other at the tables and showing each other what type of bargains we got. We were also swapping lots of tips and techniques. One of my favorite tips was to buy the little hand lotions and add them into every project bag, especially during winter. So when you're out and on the go, you have one and your hands can remain nice and moisturized. Because I don't know about you guys, but my hands are always drying out. I also got to meet a subscriber and her daughter. Hi Emma, if you're out there. Honestly, it made my day, and if you see me out and about at craft events, come say hi. Let's get on to the market space. I actually thought that it was well laid out and had plenty of space between the stalls for browsing. There was also a very good variety of vendors. So the stalls were kind of set up in two different areas. There was sort of inside the community space and panel area, and there was also out into the main lobby of the hotel. I found navigating the spaces very easy, and when I was browsing, I didn't have any issues running into anybody. There was also lots of different vendors, which I really appreciate, and ones that I hadn't seen before in person. I did think this was good because I definitely saved on shipping, and getting the chance to squish all of the yarn and check the colors in real life is just invaluable, especially when you're trying to pick up a variegated yarn, or if you're not sure if something will be scratchy. Anyway, on to my yarn haul. Okay, first up in my mini haul, I got this very pretty pink yarn from Choo Choo Yarns. What really sold me on this 100% mercerized cotton was that it is 500 meters, which means there is less joins. Could you ask for more? Absolutely amazing. I haven't started working with it yet, but I am very much looking forward to it. I have 1,000 meters. I have 1,000 meters or 1 kilometer of this yarn. I cannot wait to start working with it. Off the top of my head, I can't remember the name of the stall holder that I got my haul from here, but I will add it over here somewhere in text. So first up, for all of my amigurumi, I have these beautiful, shiny, sparkly eyes. I absolutely loved the shine of these. And of course, you know that I can't go past a purple or a pink. I really liked the gold. It also came with this bronze color, which I think will work great with my spookier amigurumis. And of course, I couldn't leave without buying more yarn. I got the Fiddlesticks Eddy. It is 60% cotton, 40% acrylic, and I absolutely loved this rainbow. It is so pretty. This colorway is also called Rainbow. And this one is just so my vibe, and colors I absolutely love. The gradient. Another thing I really like about this yarn is it changes one strand at a time. So the color gradient is very smooth. This is in the colorway Iris, and both of these cakes are 990 meters. And the last thing I got was from Fancy Yarns, and it is this Go Handmade glitter. It is 100% polyester, but honestly, I don't know how you could do this type of glitter any other way. I'm really excited to try and use more art yarns in my work and see how I can sort of utilize them and make them look pretty. And I think glitter will be the perfect way to do that. It's also 1,800 meters of glitter. Overall, I really enjoyed this event and I would definitely go again. If you're attending in the future, I would say definitely book a workshop and be prepared to meet lots of different crocheters. I would love to see this event grow even bigger, and it's definitely a welcoming place for crocheters of all skill levels. Next year, it will be held in Geelong in Victoria, so Victorian crocheters, keep your eyes open for that one. Let me know in the comments below, did you go to the Crochet Convention? How was it for you? Do you have any advice for anyone else who would be attending? And also, if you didn't like it, let me know why. Thanks for watching, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!